Joining us,
that guy?
Padel, Chris Padel.
Chris Padel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just calling him out. Where you at, dog?
Where you at, dog? I call him Christopher Patel, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Bro, that's hilarious, Christopher Patel." Like that's imagine that was his name.
Is
bro.
is there like a proper way to say it in like the mother tongue?
Well, his name is Kernish, not Chris, but Chris is easy. Thank you to 115 people being here in 25 seconds. We are waiting for our other two. I don't even know if Vitaly's coming today. I think
he just hit up. He said he's gonna be 5 to 10 minutes late.
Okay, perfect. So we'll get to see him today. Okay, great.
Yeah, like if you were from Puerto Rico, you would call me Carlos Almonte. You know what I'm saying?
Carlos Almonte.
You know,
did you get any DMs last night after we talked about potentially leaking your stomach, your six pack?
DMs? No. I mean, I think we bailed right after that happened. Maybe Kelly went to sleep. There was another chick that popped out. I didn't even know we had more than one girl.
Yeah,
I never heard of her.
Alice is super dope. She's from Australia. She's super dope.
Tam Tran,
thank you already.
I love
starting with super chats. $10. Winners win together.
Tam Tran is bankrolling this whole thing, man.
Tam Tran, he's
gonna get you to buy an Apple Watch.
Yo, okay, so Carlos and Chris are on this new health wave, and it's not like I'm not on the health wave. I'm working out and shit.
Yeah, I mean, you got the guns showing. You got a permit to show those guns, bro? You got a permit for those guns, homie?
They're peer pressuring me to buy a fucking Apple Watch, and my mom bought me an Apple Watch like 5 years ago, and I made her return it because I was like, Mom, I will never use this ever.
It's one of those things where you think you won't use it until you actually get it. It's incredibly useful.
To do what, bro? To look at the time? Like,
no, it's much more than using time. It's a really good proxy it is a good proxy for the phone to check messages in places that you don't want to pull out the phone. It is a great controller for your music and stuff when you're at the gym. Look at that. It's the guns, bro. You see? It's the guns. It's the guns.
I just never use, like, the only watch I have is that broken watch that I wear for
fun. Maxime.
I just never got into watches for some reason.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Chris?
What's up, Christopher Patel?
Yo, Almonte done fucking outdid me this morning. Well, I went in.
I told you I was in the gym. I was pushing weights around, bro.
Yeah, he was not playing like today. So I was like, all right, I got to catch up to him before I start the pod. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do it afterwards. So I was like, okay.
The thing is, I'm lifting heavy weights, so I'm looking at the calorie thing, and I'm like, this is gonna look like I didn't do enough. So I did like another couple of sets. Because I'm doing heavy weights, low reps. You don't burn a lot of calories that way. But I'm like, Chris is gonna go run 2.5, 3 miles. I was like, I gotta put in the work.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I need to catch up to Almonte, man. Let me get on that right now. So then I was like, fuck this. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go all out in the morning. So this way you have to catch up to me instead of me.
That's fine. According to the challenge, it says we don't officially start till Wednesday. So this is the stare down. You and me are in the,
Wait, isn't it Wednesday today? Today's Wednesday.
So then I guess what I did today counts.
Yeah. So you won today. You won today. You closed all your rings.
Thursday, the whole day.
Yeah, I closed all my rings. I'm closing my rings, bro.
I closed out one of my, like, I closed out my workout ring today. I didn't close out the standing ring or the other one, whichever.
Wait, so the Apple Watch lets you know how much Carlos is literally lifting? That's how it works?
No. It's how much calories he's burning and what exercise he's doing.
Let me see if I can pull it up on this and see. Like, I have a bunch of them. I have like, like my wife and some friends of mine. Basically, every time I finish a workout, it's going to, why the heavyweight at this age? Because I want to take up as much space on the planet as I possibly can with my body. Why else would you do that?
Yeah, heavyweights are good. It forces you.
I like the way it feels better, and I've always had a high metabolism, so it is very hard for me to keep weight on. It's always been hard for me to keep weight on versus the opposite. And people say, "Oh my God, what a bad problem to have," but no one likes to feel. You don't like to feel weak and skinny.
By the way,
you don't like to feel, heavy and stuff.
Thank you, Tam Tran, for the super like. He actually wrote me a really nice message on Twitter. So I was like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's always nice to hear some positive feedback. Huh?
Yeah, like every day. It's like $10.
Yeah. No, he's good. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, and I appreciate you like reaching out.
The Apple Watch.
Huh?
It's the Apple Watch.
I said he's
fund.
fueling the Apple Watch. I was saying that's what he said. That's
for a mint.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
He's gonna buy the Apple Watch. He reached out to me as well. He's super awesome, man. When you guys reach out, it means so much. Just shooting us a message
and anyone that I didn't get back to, I am sorry. I've been swamped with so many things. Like, and I know I post somewhat regularly on Twitter, but that's like me halfway doing something or halfway asleep, and I'm like, okay, let me wake up, and if I get to it, I answer you guys. If you guys ask me a question that like I don't feel comfortable answering, I usually tell you guys like, hey, listen, I'm sorry. Like, you know, like when you ask me like direct, like I have this much money, what should I buy? Like, I'm sorry, like I don't do that. Like, you know, it's just I can guide you in the right direction to say, hey, look, you know, depending on your risk tolerance, you can look at this particular.
If you want to answer that question, just send a super chat on the pod and be like, Chris, I have 50,000. Where do I put it? And then he has to answer it. If you say,
oh, thank you, TJ. Wheel deal, bro. This guy,
no wheel deal,
dude. He just knows how to just time the market. You think I'm a trader, bro? TJ has been just rolling shit, and he uses a strategy. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but he knows exactly when his entries are, when his exits are. He knows what he's doing.
He's made already $2 million in premiums just off SoFi this year.
Yes.
With cash and crypto.
That's a lot of shares. Yeah.
That's a lot of money, bro.
Yeah.
A lot
That's
of
fantastic. He's sniping. He's up there on the rooftops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, TJ, if you're willing to pay dinner, man, I'm down. I'll come to New York. We could grab some dinner.
No, I got mad at
fly
TJ.
me out. You got $2 million. Fly me out.
I got mad at TJ because he went to Texas and met up with Riley and Tevis before he met up with me. And I was just like, TJ, come on, bro. We got to meet up. So we definitely got to meet up, bro, in New York.
Yeah.
And get some food.
And by the way, we can pay for our own meals. You don't have to do that. That's totally.
Yeah, it's gonna be my treat. Nice. You're not gonna treat me to that. It's gonna be my treat.
Yeah,
TJ,
exactly.
TJ's been awesome, man. I love TJ.
Yeah.
Vitaly, what's popping, my guy?
Vitaly's looking at boats right now. That's what he's doing.
He was like, when you said what's popping, he was done. He's like, I'm not answering.
He's looking at his SoFi calls right now. He's like, okay, yeah, I was gonna get the smaller boat, the Catamaran or whatever. And now he's like, yeah, I think I could upgrade. I could get another bigger one.
Okay, before he gets in and we get into Apple, which is the topic of discussion today, or at least the first topic, Chris, what was your reaction to SoFi up 15% today? How'd you feel?
No, it's good, man. Like the student loan moratorium was like, you know, that's been SoFi's core business for a long time. I know they had to pivot away and go into personal loans, but you know, student loans were the bread and butter of SoFi's. Student loan refinancing was SoFi's bread and butter. So to get that business back is a big deal for them, you know. So now they have a personal loan business that's generating them net interest income. Now you're going to have another business that's generating another source of income. And then you're going to have the mortgage income coming in from Wellington that they purchased. So this is just, I'm telling you, SoFi is just a whole bunch of streams just converging on a giant pool of water. And that pool of water is the equity. The equity is us now. So, you know, that's good. I saw you were super stoked throughout the day. You know, because
it was a good day. It was a nice day.
Yeah, it was a good day.
How does that feel? As a Palantir investor, this is something you've never felt before. Gains, like actual gains.
You know, I'm up more on SoFi than Palantir because I still am like not breaking even on Palantir, which is like just it's tough.
But it does feel good, right? Just to see that and to know that there's still a lot more room to run, right?
You know, it's crazy when Chris was up like thousands of dollars. I think he was up like 7,000 or 8,000 on Weight Watchers or something, and he just casually said it. And I think it was a month ago. I was like, yo, Chris, like, how does it feel, bro? You're seeing $7,000 on your Robinhood. Like, aren't you like fucking jumping? And he was like, no. He's like,
because that's more like 5,600 after taxes. Then it's more like 4,000 after the wife takes her cut. Then I'm broke.
The casualness he spoke with it, and I'm sure Carlos, you would feel the same, or Vitaly would feel, because you guys have seen those numbers. I've never seen that shit. So today, when I'm looking at that shit, I kind of felt more how Chris felt because it's been the past couple of weeks has been more volatile. And I'm like, yeah, it's just numbers on a screen. And then you got taxes and all this stuff. And it's just paper. You didn't sell. It's not really yours, but it's like a game. And it's just like on some days the numbers are big and you feel good for the day. And other days it goes down because it's volatile and you know, you just keep it moving.
I wish I had a camera on myself when I opened my portfolio that first time after 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it was.
And you saw 400,000.
It was hundreds of thousands up. Thousands of percent. And I was like, this is not real. You feel like you win the lotto, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a multi-bagger? Have you ever had a multi-bagger?
No, not a multi-bagger, meaning like you buy something at 4 and you get it at 12. It's like,
more than 100% return, like more than 100%, 200%, 300%.
No. Never.
You will. You will.
Never.
Well, you're hanging out with the right junkies. That's for
No,
sure.
that's the thing. And that's the cool
will.
thing about the podcast, and that's the cool thing is having like I would not know about Truist or SoFi or any of the like understanding this stuff without you guys and without this whole community we built. So I hope that the people that are here, they also feel the same. It's just like some stuff you just don't know because you're just not consuming that content, not talking to those people, not interacting with them, and you have no idea. And so the fact that we're building this is super cool, you know?
Yeah, me and Vitaly had a moment like that earlier this year with Meta. You know, we both went in pretty heavy with Meta. We tried to tell as many people as we possibly could that time too. So there's like if you missed out on that one, I'm sorry guys. Like we tried. Like I was on his Discord and sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning just texting. I mean, you guys know. I was just like feeding data after data points. I was just like, look, this is what I found. This is what it is. Just
you called me. You were like, this is stupid. And I still wasn't buying it. We just, we didn't have a podcast or anything like that. Like it's just, I just didn't, notice. And so
yeah, it's funny. I actually messaged Kelly and I actually wrote like, listen, whatever you do, buy fucking Meta. She was like,
but we're not friends.
No, I mean, at that point I knew Kelly. Like she's been a regular on the show. She's always, like contributing. So I was like, okay, if there's one person that I feel comfortable talking to, and she's decently well off on her own as well. So it's not like, she couldn't afford the risk either. So I was just like, I was telling her, and I told a couple of our friends too. Like I told Shabari, Cyberfam, like especially with FRC, like when FRC was happening, me and him were going back and forth with things. So, when I see something, I try to tell people that I know, like, hey, because I want their opinion also, because I respect your opinion. Like I want you guys to give me some feedback as well. It's not just me just saying shit, Yeah.
Vitaly, how you doing?
Just tired, man.
Wait, before you answer that question, at 11 minutes and 52 seconds, I was going to cut you off anyway because it was part of the joke. But we have hit 442 people. Thank you guys for being here.
I did have time to check today that my calls on SoFi are doing pretty well. That's the one thing I got to check.
So how are you doing after seeing those calls? That's the real question.
I feel better.
I'm
still tired, but I feel better.
So Vitaly, let me ask you, when you see you're up thousands of dollars in a day, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in a day, are you at this point desensitized to that? Or do you kind of still feel a little joy when you see that?
I think it's at the point where it's like 10,000, 20,000. I don't get too excited. I should have bought more calls.
Your mindset immediately goes to, I should be up more money, right?
I should have.
When you see gains, your mindset is like, it should be more, basically. That's your mindset every time.
Yeah. I did a small, relatively small position in SoFi, but I did buy plenty of calls and I do have a lot of shares. So I think today was a really green day for SoFi, obviously. Yeah.
And for a lot of stuff, it was pretty green.
I didn't see everything. I didn't see everything played out.
Actually, I feel like I got into SoFi when the door was closing. Like the train is like stand clear of the closing doors. I was that guy. My butt.
You're like, oh, hold on.
I grabbed a bunch of shares, and then like Monday morning when I was up, it's like 6. I said I'm gonna just stay up, and I started buying some calls. I got them. It was like just over $5, and here I am. I'm good.
I saw something really weird happen. Me and Futbucker actually just messaged each other really quickly.
Every time someone says his name out loud.
Yeah. But basically,
one day you're gonna say Futbucker came over to my house.
So the numbers came out for like withdrawals from the banks today, and so everyone and their mother was selling off regional banks in the morning. So everything was down like 5-10%. Some of them, and then calmer heads, cooler, rational people realized like, wait a second, this is December. I mean, this goes from January to March 31st. March 31st is in the heat of the run in, the bank runs. So yeah, the numbers look skewed. And even then it was only like 2.5%. So it's really manageable for most of the banks anyway. So at that point, people were just like selling like crazy. But me and Futbucker, I don't know if Futbucker got like a lot, but me and him bought up some positions in some companies and we rode the market higher up, back up today. So sometimes the market can get a little screwy, and you should be knowledgeable enough to like figure things out and take some.
I was watching this happen live, and another reason that some of the banks were having a decrease in deposits is because of taxes. I didn't realize that. Like when people have to pay taxes in April, they have to take money out of the bank, especially small businesses, and if that's the main depositor, is you gotta pay those taxes. So there was a bunch of different reasons, and I saw a lot of banks just go down and then came right back up within like 30 minutes. And it was really interesting to see that all happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
All
SoFi was up from what the brief thing that I read about was that it's because of the loan moratorium is going away, right? Is this happening
it passed one of the houses of what did it pass the Senate? Now it's going to it passed the House. No. It's going to the Senate.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just passed like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, just passed the House.
Oh, okay, right.
So the thing is, Vitaly, that
doesn't happen. If that doesn't happen, then it's going back down. So
everything's falling down.
Don't get too excited.
The thing is, the loan moratorium wasn't priced into SoFi because they guided full year 2023 without it, completely without it.
Yeah.
So
we talked about this.
Yeah, the fact that it wasn't priced in,
they won't care if that doesn't happen. It's still they're going to feel some pain if that doesn't pass.
Oh, 100%.
But if it doesn't pass, there's more pain coming because we then.
But it's all but assured at this point. Mitch McConnell, the one thing I've realized about Mitch McConnell, he's like Nancy Pelosi back in the day. Nancy Pelosi wouldn't bring anything to a vote if she didn't have the votes. McConnell's the same way. McConnell stayed out of all the negotiations.
Right? Don't you mean McCarthy?
No, McConnell's on the Senate side. Okay, McCarthy is on the House side.
Right.
Believe it or not, it's the Democrats that saved this House bill. Like more Democrats voted for it than the Republicans did. Believe it or not. And even though it was actually by a Republican speaker that put it up for a vote, no, it's the Democrats that came in and said, look, we don't want to screw up.
Look, let's be honest. They all know that they can't default, right? Because they also have their money in the markets. That was a pure political play. The Republicans wanted to go on record and show that they would have said no to the spending so they can run on that for later, knowing that some of the Democrats are going to come over. Yeah. And then use that to say that they saved the economy.
It was a compromise. Like the entire time I watched the entire voting process. I just wanted to hear. It was like watching paint dry. Like each side was, my side is the good side and your side is the bad side because you want to do this. And the other side would do the same fucking thing except vice versa. And that's it. Like the entire time I was just like, all this performative bullshit. Like we all already know what the conclusion is, but I mean, you got to do the procedure. So it is what it is.
It's a reality show.
Yeah.
All right. First topic of the day, ladies and gentlemen, CrowdStrike. $692 million versus $676 million. Beat. Revenue, 57 cents earnings per share versus 51 cents. Beat. 42% year-over-year revenue increase was slower than 61% growth a year ago at this time, but still 42% year-over-year revenue growth is nothing to scoff at. And this is what the stock does.
What was the guidance? Is the guidance, huh?
Well, so that's my question. Why do you think the market didn't punished it?
Well, it's
the guidance was fine by the
rumor, sell the news or something, right? Like it was run up. It was baked in before earnings.
Amit, show the 3 month. Actually, show the year to date, and that'll clear everything up.
Yeah, he's showing the minute chart.
Yeah, like what's his name yesterday, Wong. He was looking at Palantir down to like the seconds.
So there's your answer right there. Okay, look at year to date.
It's up a good amount. Yeah,
it's up 60%. The expectations were super high. When you have super high expectations and then you miss even by a slight margin, or you give a slightly less flattering guidance, the market is going to come and punish you.
Yep.
That said, I was watching CrowdStrike. I wasn't paying attention recently though, but I didn't realize it hit as low as 100. I would have bought it. I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, me neither. I use can we
talk about that? What is can we do a little 10-minute TLDR? What is the bull case for a cybersecurity play? Why is this an interesting SaaS play if you have to make a bull case for it?
Okay, so CrowdStrike is cloud-based antivirus and protection for like the enterprise level, right? So like my hospital system, we have CrowdStrike. It runs in the background. The one amazing thing I love about CrowdStrike is that you don't feel it. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but you do not feel it at all.
You're saying they have a very fast service. Their network is super fast.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not only their network, but their software is written in a way that does not feel like it's overloading the computer itself. Like a lot of time workstations, what happens is like when you load up antivirus softwares, they just eat up so many resources that it's terrible to work with. CrowdStrike, you don't even know it's there. And it also does endpoint security for other things that are non-just workstations as well. So a lot of major corporations, they have contracts with CrowdStrike where they have an enterprise license and they do cybersecurity. So yeah, and the other thing is like legislatively, there has been a lot of movement and actually money geared towards companies and industries to be more ready for cyber attacks. The other thing is, back in the day, like you would have to go and update the clients on every single computer when you were doing updates for like virus definitions. CrowdStrike automatically does everything in the background so that the minute it detects something, the AI picks it up and automatically knows what it is and then updates the entire stream.
But why would I buy the stock? You tell me the product is good, but why would I buy?
Because it's growing like crazy. It's growing like crazy. It's making a shit ton of money. Look at its growth. It's growing 45-50% year over year, generating a shit ton of cash. What else do you need?
Well, look, if you think security is important now, wait a decade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like a massive growing industry. And I think, who was the other competitor? Was Fastly in the same space?
Zscaler.
I think so.
Zscaler.
No,
yeah, it's not fast. It's
not Fastly. But there's only a few main competitors to CrowdStrike, from what I know, and I haven't done full DD on it. That's why I'm not watching it every day. But this is a growing industry that I do want to be a part of eventually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. Cool. Carlos, any thoughts on CrowdStrike?
Oh, well, I'm not personally invested in it. And again, it's like, I don't know who we were talking to yesterday about it. It's like, I only have my brain space to invest in a certain number of companies, and I'm probably going to just let that one go. Because again, do I want to be looking for news on CrowdStrike to protect that investment? Probably not. But what is interesting is I know somebody, I'll just say that this person's very well connected. And a few years ago, I asked them, I think you remember this conversation, Vitaly. I was talking to this guy and I said, what should we invest in looking forward in the future? You know, and I expected to hear stuff like space or whatever. And he's like cybersecurity. That's what he said. And this guy knows, like, maybe we'll talk offline, but like, and I was like, really? Like, why? And he's like, it's a matter of national security, or it's going to get there at this point. And I was like,
there, I'm sure.
Interesting. And he gave me a couple of stocks. I actually had some money in them for a while, but then when the pandemic hit, that got sold and went straight into like Bitcoin or Tesla or something like that. But it's interesting that was the one thing that he said to put your money in.
Oh, no, the other one is Sentinel-1. I forgot to shout that out. I think
Palo Alto. I think Sal mentioned Palo Alto.
And Palo Alto. I think Dom works for Sentinel-1. I'm not sure. Just, I know he worked at VMware at one point, but yeah.
We've come a long way from Norton, huh?
Yes.
Fucking Norton.
Yeah.
All right. On to the next topic. But before we get there, at 22 minutes and 28 seconds, we have hit 500.
We hit 500 yesterday for a second, right?
Yeah. So what were you doing today? GTL, baby? You don't even know what that is, huh?
GTL.
Gym, tan, and laundry.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
From the Jersey Shore.
Yeah. This guy's from the Jersey Shore right now.
Bro, I got this shirt in 2014, and it still fits, and it's like, it's nice.
I know when he first came out, I was like, you have a license for those guns?
Dude,
yeah, it's like, let me turn on the light over there. Is this light over here too bright?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm showing my age by saying GTL. How many people in the comments know?
No, I watched Jersey Shore.
People know what GTL is, man.
Also, by the way, hold on. By the way, okay. So someone asked, someone made a joke about me not knowing movies, and then Chris and Carlos are in the Twitter feed, like, yeah, they made some joke about movies on Twitter. Chris and Carlos are like, oh, we had the good old days of going to Blockbuster. We had to put the the cassette in the VCR. Motherfucker, I did that. I was born in 97. From 97 to 2005, we had cassettes. I went to Blockbuster. We had the subscription. Like, I lived your life.
Wait, what year were you born? Hold on. What year?
You were born. We were making out with chicks, dude. Like, come on.
No,
nice.
Hold on. What year were you born again? What year were you born?
I was born in 1997, but I had cassettes.
Bro, what were you? Wait, that makes you what? Like
2000?
Bro, that makes you like 6 in 2003 when we were in college, bro.
Seriously,
just think
I
about
graduated college 2001.
But that doesn't mean I didn't watch. That doesn't mean I didn't watch Snow White on the cassettes. We had to record the fucking. We had to get negative.
Mick, you're like the guy on your YouTube video where you give him an old rotary phone and he's trying to figure out how to use it. You're that guy.
We had a rotary phone. Like, bro, I lived through that. So we got our first computer in like 2002 or something. So for 5 years, we had dial-up. My mom couldn't be on the phone and be on the internet at the same time, or else the buzzing sound. Like I get the references. Okay, I'm in the sweet spot.
Yeah,
where
no,
I know exactly how you
caught,
live.
listen, you caught the
And
tail end of it. You caught the
Yeah,
tail end
you
of it,
missed
but
it.
you weren't a teenager in that. This is the point. Like you weren't a teenager running around. It's not a cassette.
Yeah, did you have a Walkman, baby?
It is-
You didn't
it is.
have a
Yeah.
Walkman.
Oh yeah, Sony Walkman,
I had a CD
baby.
player. I had a CD player.
Yeah.
Did you have a MIDI
Wow.
player? See, you guys remember MIDI? MIDI.
Yeah,
No, I
that's
don't know what the fuck
terrible.
that is.
No, I did
Yeah.
not.
Sony had so many proprietary things; it was ridiculous. Right?
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
Sony
yeah,
thing.
that was
Right?
Mhm.
Like I would have to record songs that I liked on a cassette that on the radio. You'd have to just hit
Yeah.
record on it, and that was the only way you could.
I'm
save
so
it.
old. The only way I used to listen to music was live.
Yeah.
He's like,
You
I'd have
guys
to get the
remember-
tabs. I'd have to get the tabs and learn the damn song.
Oh
You guys
my
remember?
goodness.
I got the.
You guys
tabs in the
remember
mail.
Nero? You guys
Wait,
remember
what?
Nero? Nero for burning CDs, so you could do
Yes.
like
Oh,
burn
yeah.
ISOs,
That was
so you
really
could share
good.
'em.
Nero was good.
My
man.
uncle used to burn a
Yeah.
ton of CDs. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what a
Remember
floppy
when they
disk
made
is?
it so that I don't know if you have like the car CD players where the first time you were able to like hack it or whatever, where you could play a data disc and you could put hundreds of them. Because remember, you would only let you burn like
Mhm.
10 songs, then you could
Mhm.
burn it as a data disc. Oh, that was like
Bro, the first girl I ever messaged on the internet, her name was Stephanie. It was on AIM. Like I used AIM. I was in that world. So
yeah, but we were on AOL. We were on Prodigy.
Yeah, we
I
were
don't
in
know what
Prodigy,
Prodigy is.
baby.
I was on
I don't know what
Prodigy,
that
bro.
shit
I was on
is.
Prodigy.
Bro, I had
All right.
Net
He's like,
Zero.
what?
Remember Net Zero, the free version? Like we were poor, so I had to have the one with the
dude,
fucking
Net
ads.
Zero. Look at this, bringing it back, man. Oh my god. That's
Yeah,
good.
no, that
LimeWire,
was a
yo, my
nostalgic
sister got
ride.
in so much trouble because, bro, when my
LimeWire.
sister would download LimeWire,
Napster, LimeWire.
yeah, here's a story about this, bro. My sister, you downloaded so much
Ooh,
illegal music. This is
ICQ. We got some oldies in this up in this piece. ICQ, yeah.
Andrew's like, "What's AIM?" This motherfucker, he doesn't know
Exactly.
AIM.
That's a joke. He's got to know what that is.
My sister used so much LimeWire, and you know when you click on shit, it leads to like porn websites. The computer.
No, what are you
Oh
talking
yeah,
about?
but you just know the Ukrainian single, though. That's the only.
This
one
guy
you know.
said. This guy's
Um,
saying, "Do you remember Vanilla Ice?" All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Vitaly's back with his brand new intention.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but anyway.
Damn, dude.
The point is, bro, my sister infested our computer with LimeWire,
You all fucking
which led
old.
to the porn websites. Okay. And then my dad, I'm like 12 years old. He thinks it's me. He thinks I'm searching up this shit. And he confronts me. I'm like, I don't know what this stuff is, Dad. What are you talking about?
You're like, but leave me alone in the room for like the next 5 hours so I can do an investigation.
Bro, he like really thought I was searching that shit at 12 years old. I'm like, I have no idea what this is her, but she's not searching it. It's LimeWire leading to these stupid ads that are creating the cookies to the porn websites. And so yeah, we went through it.
Pick up. What is that?
Oh, do we have another super chat by TJ? Goodness
What did he
gracious.
say?
TJ,
Pick a
It's making it
restaurant.
rain today.
he's coming to New York and we got to get dinner with him. Pick a restaurant that won't
Dude,
get me
we
in
ain't
trouble
Chat
with the wife.
GPT.
What is it? Wait. Pick a restaurant that won't get me into trouble with the wife, and the wheel deal will gladly treat. Love you. Oh, you got to go to La Conda Verde. Come on, guys. Robert De Niro.
Okay.
Robert De Niro.
I
All
might
right,
take
TJ,
you guys to a hole in the wall Thai place, bro, that I really like. It's really
Go to
Thai
Alta
food,
Vista.
huh? Oh,
No, go to Alta Vista
Good
to
ti-
get your restaurants.
good Thai food was like I feel like the one that I go to, there's like an old Thai lady in the back who's like cooking everything. It takes a really long time for the food to come out, but bro, the drunken noodles are like, you know.
Okay, we got to get to the next topic. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a company that released a product in 2007 and it revolutionized the world. They did it again in 2010. And ever since then, they really didn't do it. The company I'm talking about is obviously Apple with the iPhone in 2007 and the iPad in 2010. So here's the question. And we're going to start this off with Carlos. This is the WWDC Worldwide Developers Conference 23. The invitation obviously looks like a VR headset. Apple reportedly releasing the XR OS. Do you think, Carlos, that this is a 2008/2010 moment where Apple is getting ready to revolutionize the industry for computing, development, games, etc., as we know it? Is it Apple's time to change the game again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I think we actually, this time we get to know that it's happening before it happens. But I think absolutely this is their moment. It's kind of like, they are in a sense betting the company on this. I think I tweeted to someone, I said, if they announce it, which is still not, we don't know for sure, but everyone kind of thinks it's happening. This to me marks the end of the Steve Jobs era. Like you could argue that a lot of everything that they've done since Steve Jobs died was on some level an extension of his vision for the company. And this would be the time where they pivot and become what Apple's going to become known for over the next, 20, 30, 40 years, like whatever their next S curve is going to be. I think it's a huge moment. And I think they're going to validate a space that that's been dominated pretty much by a bunch of loose players like Meta and PlayStation. Yeah, dude.
Okay, so Chris, go ahead. Chris,
we can get into we can get into this, and I already know what you're gonna say, but you can go say it. But
there's nothing to say. There is no device. They have no ecosystem. There's nothing to say about it. Let them release a device that actually competes on an equal level.
See how angry he gets? You see how triggered he is?
No, but
you see how triggered he is?
No, what I totally hate this when people say things that don't exist yet in the world. Wait till it exists.
Well, hold on, Vitaly. To push back on you, Apple makes ecosystems exist like that. Because Apple's perfect.
No, I'm not saying they're not releasing a device, but I'm saying let's wait for it to be released. Let's wait for it to be good. Let's wait for it to be a good price. Let's wait for all these things to happen. Let's wait for developers to come.
But this is what you do. No, but this is what
it happens.
No. That's not how it works. What you do is you have the conversations before, and you speculate on things to see.
Oh yeah, we can speculate. You're right about that.
Your thesis is right or wrong, right? This is how it's supposed to work.
We can speculate.
And I know it just triggers you that anyone's saying anything against your precious Meta.
Do not talk about Zucks badly.
I mean,
bro, your dude is running like 10 miles in 40 minutes. Have you seen this new
my dude just kicked ass. He just was like wrestling. Did you hear about this? Mark Zuckerberg went into a real championship with a mask and won some awards. Did you see this?
I saw it.
Well, this was is it different from the one like a couple of weeks ago? What he did?
No, it's a new one that they put out like 2 days ago.
My dude can beat your dude in a cage match. Okay.
this is Zuckerberg trying to have his Bezos moment. He's like, I want to be buff too. I want to get a hot chick.
Shout out to Mando Medic 499 super chat. They are introducing wired headphones, something that doesn't exist.
I don't think. Look, it's fine. We only have to wait a few more days, but I think all these people are going to just literally just eat their world.
No, first of all, I want Apple. Like I keep saying this, we need Apple, we need Microsoft, we need Google to release these products that are super hard for startups to make. They can't really make it. These companies need to make the ecosystems for VR to be real. If only Meta does it, it's not going to be big enough. Okay. And these third-party players that are doing it, you can look at it. They're just being destroyed by Meta right now. Like we're talking about HTC Vive. All these players are not real players compared to how big Meta is and how many devices Meta actually sells. So we do need Apple and we do need these other players to actually release good quality, cheaper VR devices. So I hope Apple does this, by the way, because
it's not going to be cheaper. It's not going to be cheaper.
Well, I hope eventually it will be because it needs to grow the ecosystem.
No, I think this is what I'm thinking. If the technology that they're saying is in this Apple device, it's not going to seem cheap. It's going to seem like that's what the cost of these devices are in order to do this correctly. You need the M2 chips. You need superior battery tech. You need superior screens. You need incredible spatial audio. You need Apple's OS. This is that's I think they'll price it and say, okay, everybody's headset is actually priced correctly. Apple's is priced correctly for the design and the items that are in that device, and the experience will be better. And Meta's device at $500 will feel like a $500 VR.
It's supposed to feel like $500 that everybody can afford.
We'll give it to you. Chris, go ahead.
So the question is, are you going to be paying $3,000 for the first device that comes out, Carlos? Are you going to get it?
No, listen, me, no. But I mean, I think Amit and I were talking about this. I think there'll be tiers. I think they'll do maybe, a $1,999, $2,500 and a $3,000, like they do with the iPhones. But we people freaked out when there was a iPhone price over $1,000. Be like, I'm not paying $1,000. I'm not paying $1,000 for it. But when you think about what that device replaces in your life, right? In terms of like the camera, the compute power that it has, it's actually not a bad deal. And people are now comfortable paying for it.
So there's only one product I think that Apple has never been able to really capitalize on, and that's Apple TV. Like the 100%. Device when it came out,
100%.
Like Roku killed him. Then Amazon came out with their thing. Like this, I remember a few of my friends got the Apple TV, but it was never anything like super special, right? So I know that there's this feeling that Apple can do no wrong, but they've had their missteps here and there. It's very hard to find their missteps, but they've had a few.
Listen, they tried to. You could say that the 2013 Mac Pro was a flop. You could say they sold a lot of those units, but they actually tried that form factor before. I don't know if you guys remember this from 2004 to 5, or maybe even earlier, the G4 Cube. They try to have a computer where you'd swipe your hand over it and it would power on. They sold a couple of those units, but they've they've tried to make that form factor work, and I feel like they perfected it with the Mac Studio and like the Mac Mini, but those were not instant hits. They also have failed on the products, on the software side. Mobile Me was
okay. So the problem is you guys are picking sides, one winner or another. They both are going to win. Okay, this is all I'm saying.
No, they're not.
No, this is why I don't. This is why I don't think
they're not going to win.
Wait, I'll tell you why.
Wait, so Google has
one winner here.
There's going to be one winner, and I think it's going to be Apple. What? And you think that this is what you're thinking. Your thesis is, well, if Apple is taking the majority of the share, we need to have a number 2, and so there's going to be a number 2, and it would probably be Meta because they've been the one in the space. But when Apple released the iPhone in 2007, Nokia and BlackBerry were number 2, and they're gone. Who became?
I'm with Carlos on this.
It's not the same thing.
Who came in and became number 2?
What
became number 2 after Apple was Samsung and Google. Google with the Pixel and Samsung with the with their Android phones and the Galaxies. And that's what I think is going to happen here. Meta has had a huge head start. And I think if Apple's device is as good as they say it is, and they get the developers and they have the experience that Meta has been trying to produce but not been able to realize, I think people are going to see how far how far behind they are. And someone like Google will copy the fuck out of it.
All right,
Google's already has the Google Glass. They just did it too early.
All right, we'll see how behind they are. When? Tuesday?
5th.
So are you guys likely to buy the stock though, based on the success of this thing?
I bought some calls this morning. Some short. I've never done that before. I've never bought like short-term calls. I bought like close in the money calls for end of June. They were just so cheap. It was like made sense. It was like a couple $100 for some calls. Why not?
So for me, I look at this company. It's $3 trillion, I think it's 30 something PE, right? So it's up there. If it ever gets back down to 130 again, for whatever reason, maybe that something happens in the economy,
be a miracle price, of course.
But I would get in. I would get in because I think at this point, one of my biggest challenges with Apple is that I feel like sometimes they have product fatigue, in that they're starting to get saturation to a certain degree, not everywhere, but they're starting to get saturation. And also they have a lot of exposure to China, which also always worried me about them. But I think a lot of those fears have been alleviated over the last couple of years, and they've diversified their supply chain. And I think Apple, if it comes down to like 130 again, even believe it or not, under 150, I'd probably be a buyer.
I know. I didn't like it up to 170 to 180. Can you bring up Earth Cruiser GT? I agree with them. Meta has no OS. Douglas Hurstel. Meta has wasted the first mover advantage. I agree with all this. Like, they should have been doing this. Okay, Facebook has a billion or billions of people.
Hold on, doing what?
What do you mean?
Doing what? Meta should have been doing what?
Facebook should have created the revolutionary product that Apple's about to put out.
Meta, if I'm, why is Facebook not? It's not already moved to the freaking.
Well, the Oculus ecosystem is actually pretty vast.
Yeah, these guys are not paying attention. They actually
no
have
one
not
uses this Oculus.
No one uses the Oculus. When's the last time? I'm gonna pull up.
Am I the only one? Hold on. Can you do a little poll here? Can you do a little poll?
No, but we don't need to see the 2 shits you have in the back. No one uses this.
I got 3 shits in the back.
When's the last time you used it? This is his.
Oh my god, he keeps asking me every week. I use it. You keep asking me the same question.
Porn doesn't count, dude. Porn does not count.
Anything counts in VR. Okay.
Well, then he's in it all the time.
Okay, well,
I take it back.
Why is Carlos wrong about all?
Well, I think he's wrong because he's just picking one winner, and there's never one winner. There's usually 2 winners or 3 winners. So that's all I'm saying. That Apple can take 50% of they don't even have 50% of the. I'm sorry, they don't have 50% even of the device market for phones. They actually have less than that. Android owns the most of the actual device, but who makes the most money? It is Apple, the one company. So I agree with you there. Apple might take the lion's share in terms of not the number of devices. They will take the lion's share in terms of the number of money made, which is okay because there still has to be an Android to Apple's iOS. Something has to be there.
The difference is
and Meta spent 10 years. In fact, in our chat, I sent you a link with the guy who works in AI. You should really listen to what he's saying.
I listened to it.
It's 2 hours long. You listen to it. It's 2 hours long.
I listened to like 50% of it.
He goes into a lot of stuff.
He's talking. I know he's talking a lot about like AI security and the benefits of AI in the future. But I didn't hear anything.
It's not only about VR. It's not directly to VR, but he does give you a lot of things that Meta is basically doing and has done for open source software. They do have an OS that is running. I'm sure it's based on Android, by the way. They do have an OS running on their device What they call it, I don't know honestly, but they
at
do
the end
have
of the
it.
day,
And
at the end of the day,
now you hold on a sec.
okay,
They've been developing it for 10 years in terms of all the technology, the actual optics technology, all this stuff has been developed for 10 years. You actually think that someone can come in 10 seconds later, take over the market, have all the technology?
It's not someone,
that's
Vitaly.
fine.
This is not someone, bro.
I'm not saying they
your
won't
argument is not a
eventually.
good argument.
Let him
It's a
finish.
great
It's
argument.
not a good argument.
Technology is very hard to replicate in 3
If
days.
it's been
even if
10
it's a
years,
year.
why haven't they dominated the market? If it's been 10 years,
maybe you have a good
just like you say,
question.
Palantir 20-year
No,
company.
no.
Why aren't they
Can I give you?
Hold
Can I give you a
on.
possible answer?
Hold on.
Can I give you a possible answer?
Go ahead.
Maybe VR is not ready for prime time, just in general. So even Apple will release their device, and it's gonna gain some traction. I'm not saying that, but I bet you it's not going to be the iPhone. It's not going to happen right now.
This is the thing, okay? Meta or Facebook, whatever you want to say, it is a software company. They're not a hardware company, okay? They're not. And Zuckerberg is not a hardware guy, and he's never been able to get a product to market. He's tried, dude. What happened to the Facebook phone? Didn't happen. They tried the portal. That didn't work either. They tried the currency with Lira. That didn't work either. They talked about getting satellites in space and getting internet to everyone. That didn't work either. He's failed at these things because fundamentally he can't get that off the ground. And the companies that he acquired, right? He acquired companies that would have essentially put him out of business, whether it's Instagram.
Are you saying entrepreneurs who try are failures? Basically?
No, I'm not saying no, but what I'm saying is
not everything's going to do is going to work out. I agree with you.
I know this, but there's no track record. So you think that a guy who created a social media platform is going to be able to compete with Apple, a company that has a long track record of creating products that people love, and they also move the entire market. People make fun of them because they got rid of the headphone jack, then everyone's doing the wireless thing. Everything, the touch screen, they did.
I think they will compete. I think you're yes. I think they will compete.
So I don't see how this software company led by that particular CEO, and also the idea that when Elon bought Twitter, he's spreading himself too thin. Mark, is he really able to focus on the metaverse and be able to focus on the bread and butter, the meta side, and continuing to grow that business? Look, you know how I feel about it. Like, if they stopped this idea of Meta being a growth company and just turned into a value play that I think that they are, and offered a great dividend and made Facebook the dominant social media platform and grew Instagram, which I've heard rumors and I've seen, I don't know how credible it is, but that they're trying to make a Twitter competitor, right?
They are. Yeah, they are.
Okay. I don't know if that, I don't know. I've seen
renderings, by the way.
But I'm just saying that to me makes more sense for the direction of the company. This idea that they're going to suddenly start competing against Apple in products and services, I think is ridiculous.
I would agree with you. Actually, you have a lot of valid points. That's the thing, which is that this is why you think your argument is correct, because you actually have a valid point about all those product failures. But I have used Oculus multiple times.
I got one right here.
It is actually amazing.
It's
an amazing device.
It is.
Amazing
It doesn't
technology.
have an Apple logo on it. That's the problem.
That's
no, it's not about the
amazing
Apple
games.
logo on it. It's not.
In fact, I don't know what they're getting in terms of what is it, like first party type of games, but I know he's bought a lot of companies that are actually making first party games for Oculus. So I'm not saying Apple's not going to compete. They're probably going to win in terms of the number of the amount of money won, but in terms of devices and all that, I don't think they're going to win that, especially if it's a $3,000 device. That's not going to happen.
Here's another reason. I actually don't think, I'm telling you, I don't think that the price point is going to be a problem if the device itself feels like well above the quality of
it's going to be a major problem. $3,000 is a major problem.
I don't think
3,000 is a lot, Carlos. Chris, what do you think about the price?
I think the price is really high, but there is one thing that I just want to point out. I think the technology gap is finally close to the point where VR can actually become a reality. And let me explain. You see this thing right here, it's gone through multiple generations, and now the connectivity with the phone to the headset itself, I think will be the key to unlocking real VR. And let me explain. One of the biggest drawbacks to having a VR headset, and you guys have one, so one is the battery life, and then you're carrying around the entire battery on your head, and sometimes if you get an additional strap, you can put it in the back.
Yeah.
But it's literally will strain your neck, strain your face, so you can't really continue to use it for a long time. Now the thing is, I'm hoping that this device has majority of the hardware running on your phone, and all it's doing is just transmitting a video signal or whatever directly to the visor. And so this part is actually super, super light. Like you don't even feel it. Like there's a company right now that some of these VR guys have been testing where it's corded, but the headset itself is like form fitted specifically per person, where you actually like measure your face and then you order something that's there. But essentially the feeling is amazing. So at like 7-8 hours, some people can stay in the VR environment and not feel any sort of stress. I think if Apple comes up with a product that's super airy, super light, that doesn't feel like a burden to put on and keep on, that will send the status quo to VR to be something possible. And then I think Meta will have to come up with a competitor to that, you know, and then move
I'll
the
say
whole
this
industry that way. Yeah.
When the watch first came out, that's essentially what it was. All the processing was offloaded to the iPhone, and the watch was merely a display. And then as they miniaturized things, got battery tech better, they were able to put that processing on it. Once the battery tech got to the point, you actually get to the point where the watch can actually have the light, you know, have the face on all day. So there are iterations of that. I don't know. I don't think that this device is going to be able to offload the processing to the iPhone because of latency. And in VR, latency is the difference between
you're gonna
a great
throw
experience
You're literally
or
gonna
you
throw
will
up.
literally fucking puke. So they can't risk it. I shared an article with you guys. I just want to read some of this. Tell me if it's a little too small or whatever. We could just. This is
also. Is this an AR or a VR thing? What are they doing?
It's both. It's actually both, and this is interesting. This is why I wanted to share this and just read some of this. Again, I don't know how much this is.
Carlos, are we going to do a live stream? Because I actually want to do a live stream with you.
I want to do it. I want to do a live stream and have that. Just watch it.
Okay.
I've never been this excited for. Honestly, if they don't announce it, I'm gonna be pissed. But if they do, I haven't been.
Let's do it on the new channel. Let's do the live stream on the new channel. Everyone who wants to join, we could send out the link. You could join me and Carlos on the what is it? I forgot the
WWDC 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. on the 5th and on Pacific time. So it would be like 1 o'clock for you guys. I just want to read a little bit of this. This is on,
Carlos, last word on this. Then we got a couple guests in the background, so you can have
Mac rumors today. Unusual headset design led to unique production challenges for Apple. Apple's mixed reality headset will reportedly be the most complicated hardware product ever made by the company. Here's some stuff about it. The headset apparently features an unconventional curved design, thinness, and ultralight weight. Renders seen by the information show a piece of curved glass with edges wrapped in smooth aluminum frame that appear to be slightly thicker than an iPhone. The thin profile requires users who wear glasses to buy prescription lenses that magnetically fit into the headset, so that you have to go get prescription lenses. Apple had to develop the first of its kind bent motherboard to fit inside the headset's curved outer shell. Carbon fiber was used in the headset. So to answer your question, Chris, the only reason they have a bent motherboard is because they're going to have chips really close to your face. They're going to be M1 chips because they have to run really cool. The battery is in your pocket because they don't want that thing next to your face, right?
The battery's in your pocket?
Enovix. Yeah. That's where everyone needs to buy Enovix,
yes,
right?
the battery's tethered to you because it also keeps the headset light.
That's for you, Johnny Boy, because that's the thing.
Johnny Boy,
Johnny Boy's gonna love
it. That might be it. But that also means that you could just, you buy more and just keep swapping them out and play all day. Listen, Apple's industrial design team apparently pushed for the front of the headset to be made of a thin, curved piece of glass, requiring more than a dozen cameras and sensors to be concealed for aesthetic reasons. They have apparently been concerns about the glass warping in the images, warping the images captured by the cameras, which could cause nausea if unfixed, and the material is more prone to shattering than an iPhone screen. The design is said to be the main driver behind the device's $3,000 retail price. Assembly workers have apparently struggled to maneuver tools and install components at awkward angles inside the device due to its shape and densely packed electronics. And then they talk about.
Sounds like a winner.
Then they talk about. Okay, we know that you're bearish on it, but like we're gonna.
No, I'm actually not bearish on it. In fact,
it's gonna be a gorgeous device.
I keep saying the meta thesis is like you're getting the call option on VR for free for Meta. You're not paying for it. In Apple terms,
but the dude did rebrand the entire company.
That's what I'm saying, and that was my last point. This was my last,
and that's what gave us the opportunity at $80.
Yeah,
but just FYI.
Yeah, but that was returning back to the mean. I mean, that's okay. It tanked it, and you got to get like a 250% return as it went back to the mean. That's great, but it doesn't mean that it's a great long-term.
Pretty good.
As far as I'm concerned.
All right, I know we got a hard.
The last thing I just want to make this last point about this. This is what I think is going to be the real problem. What if, like right now, Apple allows Facebook to have their app on the iPhone? That gives Meta access to all of the iPhone users. What if they don't allow? They're not going to allow either their software on the Oculus or any of
Zuck is my brother
on the Apple device. That could be a real problem if they make it a walled garden, because
I don't think they're
too much
allowed to do that
antitrust. That
legally.
would be antitrust.
Yeah.
They would have to face too much antitrust. No, that wouldn't work.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean they're gonna tell Zuck like you gotta pay us 30% royalty.
Remember this, like
but...
iTunes, for example, was not cross-platform for a long time. They're not going to see FaceTime if FaceTime is really like the best, say, video chat app. They're not going to necessarily put that on the Oculus right away. Maybe they'll have antitrust, but it won't be for a while. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let's talk.
We'll see in a couple weeks, and we'll also see how the stock reacts to it. All right, 2 people left in the back room. We've got 570 people here. We're going to start with our guy who wants to take us out to a steak dinner. Well, we're going to take him out to a steak dinner. TJ the Wheel Deal. Thank you for being here.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
What's up? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm going to see if you guys can give me a stock pick, guys. I have wheeled a lot of stocks in my career. I've been doing this game for over 25 years. And for the last 3 or 4 years, all I do is sell puts, sell calls, collect premium. I keep it really simple. So the stocks that I have on my radar,
tell people how much in premiums you've collected so far, 2023?
Right at $2 million.
$2 million. That's
right
insane.
At $2 million.
Insane.
Collected, and when it's all said and done, I'll realize about $2.5 million for the year, God willing.
So how many of the times do those bets go against you?
Man, my win rate's about 85%.
That's great.
But when I lose, guys, it's like anything else. I mean, the wheel strategy is awesome, but you have to be a pretty decent stock picker. I mean, nothing works if the underlying doesn't work. Like I've got one of the biggest losses of my career that I'm about to realize on a company called Ideonomics. So got my ass absolutely handed to me on that.
What was the thing? What did you sell? What did you sell, and what happened?
So IDEX is the ticker, IDEX. They want to be like SOFI, but for the EV sector. And the story was really great. I know like 10 people that actually work in the company. So I researched this thing ad nauseum for about 3 years. Okay. But at the end of the day, man, a company needs strong leadership to take you to the promised land. Like the reason that I have, approaching 400,000 shares of SOFI is
400,000
is because I'm a big bull on Anthony Noto. Like more so, I'm about the leadership than I am the actual company. Whenever it's early on, that's why I have my reservations still about Palantir, because I call Alex Carp Beetlejuice because of the hair, right? So
wow, that's such a great nickname. I'm gonna call him Beetlejuice from now on.
But
I'm never gonna hear the end of it.
My wife went to Stanford. He went to Stanford, so there's ties there. But my conviction just wasn't as high because he's I don't know who I'm going to get. I don't know if he's going to pitch the stock or if he's going to be a philosopher. So I kind of just fiddle. I
would say stick to SoFi, man. If you know your SoFi, here's the thing. I know a lot of people that want to do something that you're doing, but the thing is like they're doing it from a place where they don't necessarily know the ins and outs. Not to mention SoFi has great liquidity on options. Like you look at their open interest, it's like super high.
Beautiful.
One of the problems.
Chris, can you explain what that means? What does the open interest mean for those?
So that means that there's active contracts out there that are bought and sold for SoFi. So if you try to do like the wheel strategy on a company that's very illiquid, that doesn't have that many options floating around, you're going to pay a shit ton in premium to buy, and you're going to lose a shit ton of money when you sell. So you don't want that. You want something that's freely, there's a market for it. So that I'm sure that TJ could explain, but I personally don't do the wheel strategy. I'm more like, hey, long term, let's just buy some leaps on the damn thing if it's undervalued, and then make some money on the killing on that side. But yeah, I mean, dude, because the wheel deal, like TJ, I don't know how you do it, man. You must pray to God every single hour on the hour, because I could not fathom that kind of volatility. Like, and people call me a fucking flip flopper. So what does that tell you?
I hear you, but man, I've wheeled Intel, Disney, and PayPal in the past successfully, and I've got some puts on Intel that I closed out today because it ran up, and I liked Intel in the $25, $26 range. It's out of my wheelhouse right now. But the one company that I really wanted to talk to you guys about right now is Enphase. I hear y'all talking about Enphase a lot, and I'm a little bit premium drunk on Enphase because those premiums are sexy as hell. And I like to sell puts and collect premium.
Callie knows all about those premiums.
Oh God, you and Vitaly are about to become best friends, man.
What is the best elevator pitch on the panel for Enphase?
Maybe.
All right, and we have 2 more guests in the background, so we got 2-3 minutes on this, and then we'll move on. Go ahead, Vitaly.
Maybe Chris can give the bull case now.
Yeah, I could tell you. Basically, everyone is the cost of solar is coming down significantly. And one of the key components that you're going to need is a microinverter. Enphase has has multiple patents on the technology. They also have great customer service, and so the value of their product is there. They have
Leadership.
they have a very capital light operating model where they don't necessarily build a lot of the stuff. I mean, they do build it in-house, but they contract it out. So they're not taking on a lot of the risks that some of the other players are. Also, they work with installers that are pretty reputable, and they provide great customer service. They've got a tremendous amount of market share with regards to solar adoption. The only negative and downside, and Vitaly know this, is that in the short term, the interest rates are high, which means that the demand for their product may not be there. But that's like the opportunity, right? Where right now there's probably a whole bunch of people wanting to switch to solar eventually, but are holding back from switching because the cost of financing those solar panels is too high. Like
But
if you got to
I
pay
would say
$40,000,
some of that is offset by the fact that
But
we're
don't
reaching
you get
we're
that
reaching
back
the peak season.
somehow, like over time?
So wait, TJ, my question is, what do you know about it? Why are you even looking into it besides just talking about it?
So I've heard y'all talk about it probably a handful of times, but I just feel like the world is going clean. Like I think that the EV boom is a real thing. I think by 2030, 2035, internal combustible engines will kind of be a thing of the past. I just feel like that's why the world's going. Like that's where the world's going. That's why I'm a big bull on SoFi. I think that these brick and mortar banks, at some point, they will no longer be. There will be a variation of themselves, but do we live in a microwave society? I grew up, I'm 48 years old. I had to wait 45 minutes for a baked potato. Now people can't wait 5 minutes for a baked potato in the microwave. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way the world changes, that it evolves. And I just think that all things finance on one app is the way that the world is going. And I think any way to make the world cleaner and a better place, and if Enphase can be this mega player in this solar industry,
so
I just like to be a part of it. And I'm looking for diversification, guys, because I'm real heavy on Tesla. I'm real heavy, obviously, on SoFi, and I'm real heavy on the Bitcoin miners. So I'm just looking for something that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm already in. And I don't want to buy fucking the QQQs and the SPY. That doesn't really interest me right now.
Well, obviously, energy is a big deal, right? That's good. That's growing. But I think Chris forgot to mention your best friend. When do you want to hang out?
We're going to be in New York in December for my wife's birthday, so
you should come to our
dinner. You guys are more than welcome to come.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. So basically, I think the main thing Chris didn't tell you. I mean, he told you a bunch of bullet points, but there's two companies that are in charge of the whole solar industry, and it's not Tesla, not yet at least. It's SolarEdge and Enphase. Basically everything underneath the solar panel, somebody's in charge of, like the power conversion part, right? Two companies.
Like
that's it.
You're talking about the actual hardware?
Yeah. Like it's SolarEdge and Enphase that control this market in terms of solar and converting that DC energy to AC energy or back or whatever, whichever way they convert it, to store it in batteries or put it into your house. So if two companies control it, I'm assuming one of them will win tremendously, if not both. Right?
Yeah, and Enphase, for both of them to eat.
Right, or together, taking Tesla out of the equation, together they have 96% of the market.
Yeah, it's basically 90% of the market right now. So you're not actually there's no bet here that I'm making that's speculative. They're already a monopoly, a quasi-monopoly or duopoly. It's already there. So if you were to look into any solar that is, I don't like to look at the rooftop solar in terms of panels and who's installing it. They have nothing to do with that. They don't install the panels. They produce the things that every installer needs, that every panel needs, that everybody who wants to go green needs. That's it. That's the bull case. And that, as that grows over the next 10 years.
And they're only a $20 billion.
And they're a $25 billion company.
That's the thing that appealed to me the most is like y'all touted a lot, but then I looked and I'm like, dude, this freaking market caps, right there with Palantir. So I'm like,
well, there's a lot of interest that don't necessarily want this to happen right away, right? So with any of this disruptive technology, there's money being put in to kind of keep them down. But as you know, once you get that 5% or whatever, it just becomes inevitable. My question for you is, you said you're interested in the company. Do you mean to buy and hold shares or as option plays? Like, what are you interested in doing?
I always like to scale in via cash secured puts because I know that people think that I'm just this freaking throw shit at the wall and I make a lot of money, but I have a strategy. Like I will sell puts and sell puts and sell puts until I can get my price because I get paid to name my price. And I haven't done enough research yet, but I'm like, well, if I can look at the price here and get paid some money to sell it here, well, it's just a little bit of a margin of safety while I'm getting paid to do research, if you will. Because I can't
I've
get
been
paid
selling a lot of
I
Enphase
got to get
puts.
paid something to do any work.
Yeah, I've been selling a lot of Enphase puts, by the way. I have never been assigned Enphase.
Gotcha. But if you sell enough, at some point you can do what's called a buy right strategy, right? You can buy the shares outright, and they'll sell recover costs against it, manufacture a dividend. I assume Enphase doesn't offer a dividend yet.
You sound like a mathematician when you're saying, "Oh,
no, that's good."
It's crazy.
It's something to learn here.
I play a game of math, but with millions of dollars.
TJ, I don't know if you're in the freelancer finance what do they call Discord? We should get on that. And there's a pretty active community of people who invest in Enphase, including Vitaly. Should you guys could really hash it out there. And I'll probably pay attention to, because I've been meaning to
up and talk to us there about a little bit about Enphase.
For sure, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I just want to tell you guys that, man, I've been in this game a long time, and I learned from each and every one of you guys. I know Amit's just a kid. He's just a little bit older than my son. But I learned from this dude. This dude puts a lot of energy in learning about the macros and all of this other shit that, I don't even follow that closely. I'm trying to see where the people on the dance floor. I have to move millions of dollars. Where can I sell enough puts to get people to give me premium? Where can I sell my covered calls to get premium and hopefully not get assigned? Because I'm definitely a long-term investor, guys. I just utilize the wheel strategy to eventually lower my adjusted cost basis. Like, everybody's like, I can't believe you have that many shares of SOFI. And I'm like, bro, my adjusted cost basis is under $3. You'd be okay sleeping at night with SOFI if your adjusted cost basis was $3. But it's
especially after today.
How many are you losing now that it ran?
I'm sorry?
How many shares have you lost now that it ran to $7?
I don't have any covered calls that are actually in the money yet. Oh. My lowest strike price is $7.50, but that's where everything gets over dramatized with Tolly's. People like, oh my God, you're gonna lose covered calls. I'm like, bro, have you heard of rolling? You can get paid to change your mind. I tell people the women could be the best wheelers in the world because they change their mind all the time. Here you can actually get paid for it. You can buy to close one position simultaneously, so to open another one, increase your strike price, roll out and up. It's not that big of a deal, but keep in mind whenever you're selling puts and calls for a living, guys, it's taxed as ordinary income. So if your income is pretty high, you're going to have to pay the piper. There's no free lunch in this country, unfortunately, guys. But
all right, TJ, we got to move on. We had one super chat, 5 of the best on the pod. Great to see TJ on.
Awesome. Hey, for those George, that don't know, TJ has on my little channel sometimes. But guys, I got to get running, man. All love, Amit. I got you guys for the dinner, but just let me know where. I don't know exactly all the details, but we'll be there the first week of December, I believe.
All right, I just put your YouTube channel in the chat. Everyone can check him out. TJ the Wheel Deal. Thank you, TJ. We appreciate it.
Peace out, guys.
Thank you.
Later.
Rex, what's up?
Oh, hey, what's up?
Where are you calling from?
Philadelphia.
Okay,
very nice.
Cool. How long have you been watching the pod?
Probably. I don't know when it started, but it feels like 5.
He's like, I'm sorry, I thought this was all in, and now I'm on the air, and like, who are you guys? Like,
Chamath, where are you, Chamath?
He's like,
I guess like
here's a question: Pats or Genos? Pats or Genos?
Nah, D'Alessandro's, man, or John's Roast Poke.
All right, nice.
Okay. All right, what's your question?
So actually, Chris kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but so I've invested in the market individual stocks for 6 years. I got burned on a couple things early on, learned from my mistakes, but one of the things that I kind of want to know how to assess would be, how do you gauge management? Because I find it very qualitative and you can't really just plug in a formula. And, I love I guess one of the companies that, is often talked about is SOFI with Anthony Noto. And what I like is the performance-based stock units compared to RSUs and where you have shareholder alignment. And I find I'm just a very quantitative person, I guess, to keep it simple. And I guess just how do you go about it on a high level? And then maybe if just to take SOFI, I'm a big SOFI shareholder, very happy in the past week. But
okay, so the high level answer to your question is if they write poetry. That's it. Then they're good to go.
Right.
Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
So for me, I try to do two things. Number one is I want to know what experience do they have that gives them the ability to be in this leadership role. Have they been in companies of this same size or bigger? Have they been successful at them? Do they have a bankruptcy under them? Because some people, even some CEOs, have a bankruptcy under their belt also, where they ran a company into the ground and somehow they got another deal. I really don't know how that happens, but it does. Also, you also want to look at the board of directors, to see like, okay, what kind of board of directors is on there? Because the board of directors, their experience can really bleed into the company's operating decisions. That could be really good too. So a lot of it is just gauging the experience of the management team by itself, and then looking at each person individually and saying, okay, where is this person aligned to? And this is something that I don't really speak out too much. One of the things I'm not a big fan of when it comes to Palantir, and I know everyone's going to give me shit about it, but I'll say it, is none of the management has that much experience at other companies. Like, look at Sham Sankar, right? He started as a FDE at Palantir. So he's the COO, but where else has he been before this? Never, anywhere. Yeah. Alex Karp, founder, but has he been anywhere else? Has he founded other companies that you can use to gauge? No, never. A lot of their management team seems to be Palantir people that have always been there, and that's it. So I can't even gauge like, okay, like what do I have something to compare against? Whereas if I look at someone like Anthony Noto, like I can see the Goldman Sachs background, right? I can see the NFL background. I can see the COO of Twitter background. So it's like, then you got the West Point name behind it, and you've got Wharton behind it. So the thing is, the guy's pedigree is good. The guy's previous experiences are good, right? And then you look at all the experiences that the board, the additional people are on there have. And it's just like, wow, like this is a strong management team that knows how to run businesses. Whereas Palantir, I can't.
Let me get Carlos into this. Carlos, any thoughts you have about assessing management?
I think you got to taking them at face value, right? Depending on how long the company's been around. Listen to the earnings call. Listen to what they say they're going to do. Listen to see if they give you metrics that you can follow on a quarter by quarter, year over year basis, and see them hitting that. I think it was Vitaly. Then you posted this. Was that you posted the picture of TJ Rogers? And you said
that's what I was about to say too.
You said I always trust a guy who's got the periodic table. He had a periodic table like a dress shirt. I think. Yeah, you're muted, Vitaly.
I think that was Sunday Coates who posted that.
Oh, anyway,
Discord.
Someone posted it. But that's the idea. There's like a TJ Rogers is like he lives and breathes this stuff. He's a scientist. He's an expert and been trained in the field of which he's trying to run, which means that people will follow him, right? Because he knows what he's talking about. This is one of the things I like about Elon Musk. He understands the rockets he's trying to build. He understands the cars he's trying to build, right? And he's good at telling you what he's going to do, and you can easily track what he's saying. Because I agree with everything that Chris said. You want to know that the guy's coming from somewhere, right? He's got either some track record or he's been beaten up, had some losses, and been able to recoup from that. But to me, the biggest thing is clarity in the presentation, how they address it, and also how they deal with hardships. I think what Noto went through with the student loan thing and how he pivoted the company was fantastic for shareholders to get to see that. Yeah. You're not muted. You muted yourself.
Sorry, I was muted. Vitaly, your last couple thoughts, and then we'll move on. Go ahead.
I agree mostly with Carlos said, and I think I've invested with Carlos in a little crappy startup. I'm just going to bring it up again, called Arcimoto, which we always had trepidations about the CEO, even though we liked the product. So we thought the product was really cool. And we're like, wow, this has to do something, has to go somewhere. But the fact that the management wasn't great, and the fact that even though we had trepidation about him and we didn't listen to that, that clearly taught us a lesson that we have to listen to that we have to watch who the management is. It's just not about the product. It has to be both.
Well, you know what? To that point, we not only liked the product, but we also liked the guy. But sometimes liking the product and liking the guy, it's not necessarily that's the guy. I think you said it yesterday, Chris. Like sometimes the guy that is the one that starts the company isn't necessarily the one that's needed to help the company grow. You just want to make sure that you have the right people in the right spot.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Enphase, right? Enphase bought Badrian that did an amazing job of managing everything, scaling it up. And now you're looking at something like Enovix. And it's a very similar thing where you've got the guy who literally built up Qualcomm's Snapdragon processor line. You're bringing a guy like that into this company. So it's like, first of all, how the hell did you even recruit him, right? Like, what did you fucking show this guy? That's the first question I would ask TJ Rogers if I had a choice, right? And then I would say, what did you promise this guy? Because I will say this, good CEOs are worth their weight in gold, all right? You look at Frank Slootman. Frank Slootman ran 2 successful companies before he started at Snowflake. His stock up, he's a billionaire, by the way. He made billions of dollars. But you know what? Because of him, the IPO was gangbusters for Snowflake. And right now they're still performing. So I think it's important that sometimes you can bring in a good CEO to shepherd the company to the next stage. I think a lot of times people get founderitis where, you know, they think that they birthed this thing into the ecosystem and that they are the only ones that know how to make everything. We're like, I wish Palantir sometimes would consider bringing in some outside people into the mix also. I mean, maybe not in the CEO role. Maybe that's what Alex Karp wants to do, but come on, you gotta open up the board to some new ideas, because the ideas that you guys have right now may or may not be working. So I don't know. Like I said, we'll know. We'll see what happens.
ET FaceTime had a great comment. He's like, you want an owner operator with the skin in the game. You do. You want someone there. And what's funny is, as Chris was talking, I thought of like what would be a funny skit. The way you were talking about like bringing somebody in, it sounds like you were talking about like the NFL draft. It's like #1 first round pick. It's kind of like that. You want to know that guy's like. I just think it'd be a funny skit to have these companies competing for some of these guys and gals, of course.
All right, Rex, we got to go on this one. Thanks so much for the question. We got one more person left. Appreciate you watching the pod. Catch you on the next one.
I forgot to mention this, but good CEOs, they typically bring their leadership team with them. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. Like when Slootman started at Snowflake, he didn't just come. He fired up the entire executive team at Snowflake and brought in Mike Scarpelli and all these other like great operators to run the business also. So I think that's the other thing too. Like Raj Talluri, I'm sure that he replaced a bunch of people at Enphase. I haven't researched it.
Right. TJ Rogers brings in basically all the old timers that he's known in Silicon Valley for the last 30 years, operators, and he puts them to operate his businesses, you know?
Yeah.
So absolutely.
All right. Last person for the night. And Vitaly, this one is specifically for you. We've got technical trader Wong back.
Oh, this is great. This is going to be
Wong,
great.
you've got 5 minutes and then we got to end it. You can pull up your software, and you and Vitaly are going to do a TA
on Enphase.
Enphase.
Yeah.
Oh, Enphase. Okay, interesting.
Oh shit.
Did you watch the pod from yesterday? He was trying to get some technical. He was trying to discuss technicals on Enphase.
All right. Can you guys
you lead it off, and Vitaly will chip in anywhere he wants. Go ahead.
Okay, so we can look at the 1 week first. Right now, the 1 week. First thing I noticed is that there's a support level at around 115 over here. That's for the long term. I think this is a very strong support level. And if you look at the MACD over here, it's curling to the bullish side. So as you can see, the pinkish histogram is decaying right now towards the bullish side, and the RSI confirms that. So that's why I look at it.
I like that you're looking at the weekly here. I like that you're actually looking at longer term trends as opposed to like some daily or minute by minute chart here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into minute, but I am gonna look at weekly. So I mean daily and hourly. Yeah. So on the 1 hour over here, okay, so they got downgraded recently from the earnings. So I think this might be a better opportunity for the short term. So the reason I think so is because back then.
So what are you saying? What's the opportunity? Buy the dip. What price is that? What does this mean?
Okay, so it dropped from 222 to over here. You can see around 170. It's at 170 right now, but it dropped lower than that. So 150 would be the support level for this dip, in my opinion. I might be wrong. So the reason I think it might go back up, where it might recover, is because back then they had earnings of 1.25 billion and revenue of 634 million, and they were priced at 236. And right now they have earnings of 1.37 billion and revenue of 726 million, and they got downgraded. So I still think there might be an opportunity for this to get back up to, let's say, 220 or 200. And yeah, that's it for Enphase. I'm not sure if I want to look at 1 hour actually. I'm gonna go to Solar Edge, and then I'm gonna talk about Tesla. So
all right, we can't do those two because we got.
We'll just let Vitaly respond.
Yeah, Vitaly, what do you think about his TA?
It's not bad, but I think you're missing some of the things that I've been looking at. So maybe I should bring up my thing, and we can compare notes.
He literally did the let me try mine.
Let me show you mine.
Let me show you mine.
Let me show you my TNA. Hold on a sec. So I like that you're looking at the weekly, but let me share the screen first. It's good to look at longer term trends, especially for a company like this that's growing really fast and that's been growing for a long time. So let me share a screen. All right, you guys see this, I assume, right?
Yep.
Damn.
So
It's
I've
like
been
a guitar.
It's a guitar.
Guitar.
I've been following them for a while. Let me go to the like he did at least the week or the month. So Enphase had a massive run, and honestly, you could have invested at almost any point beyond, I think, 2017. Like, honestly, any point here, if you invested in 2016, 2017, you would have just been on a straight rocket ship. And this was in a channel for a while until it broke down. So I've been watching it for a bit now. Now that we've broken down out of this super bullish channel, we are now in this sort of channel, and it might be failing. So you see these red lines and these blue lines, right? Wang,
you're talking about the
So it was in
yeah.
it's in a sort of a channel right here that it's been trending ever since it broke up out of its straight vertical, basically. Okay, it was literally going straight up rocket ship in 2017. I wish I knew about this company in 2017 or even 2018. I didn't, and it took a while to actually buy into it. At around, I think 2020 is when I first bought into it. But here we are in this channel, and the thing that I've been paying attention to very closely is that I drew a bunch of orange lines, and we've talked about it on Freelancer Finance that anytime, see, and that's because you're not watching the moving averages. I see in your chart, you're not actually looking at the 200-day and the 21-day and the 50-day. It looks like you're ignoring all of those. If you're looking, if you're
I don't
looking
ignore
at
those, it's just that I don't really use those for my trading. So it might be a
for
difference.
Enphase, I think for Enphase, you probably should be, and I'll give you a good reason why. First of all, we are bouncing off the 200-day. I don't know if you see that 200 week, not even the 200-day. We are bouncing off the 200 week. If it remains, then you can say maybe it's still in this bullish trend. If it breaks down, it's possible quarter two can have a minute breakdown because they're going to announce possibly not great earnings. The interest rates are high, as we talked about. So maybe that's not bullish for the stock short term. But if you look at every single time, all these orange lines that I have, every single time that the RSI was just total trash, it was around 30 or so, okay? 30, 35 or under that. And every single time it's under the 200-day and the RSI was trashed, it would have been an amazing opportunity to buy, okay? So what's going on right now, okay? So let's look at that. I just want to go into the daily here. That was clear, Wang? Did I say your name right? Was it Wang or?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch that back because I have trouble listening over here. But yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. I also posted a lot of this on our Discord. So if you ever want to join the Freelancer Finance Discord, there's a lot of these charts, and just text me and I will post some of this. Okay. Okay. So here we are today. We are right now. The RSI is actually it had a little bit of a run up. So I would say this is not an opportune moment to buy because usually when the RSI is trash, I didn't even draw it in here, this orange line, but look at this RSI at 24, way under the 200-day. There's always a trade for Enphase, at least in my opinion, in the history of Enphase. If I go back in time and I look at all of these, RSI trash under the 200-day, it runs up. RSI is trash under the 200-day, and RSI is, like I said, trash meaning around 30, it runs up. So you have to wait till the RSI is around 30 in order to get your optimal trade. Okay, so right now, if you're looking at it today, are we in trash territory? No, RSI is actually at 53. So we are not in trash territory. We were there, what was this, a couple of weeks ago? May 20, the 3rd. I think we were there the 3rd, where you did have this opportunity to buy at the bottom, basically, and ride this up if you're actually a trader, if you're looking for like great prices and you're looking to trade the stock. So I would suggest you look at the history of this. Every time the RSI is around 30, way under the 200-day, take a look and you'll see that there's usually a trade to be made on Enphase, and it's been going on for years and years and years. This has been happening. So this is why it's important to follow these moving averages and not just ignore them, I guess. Hopefully that helps a little bit.
Okay. So I did talk about all right.
Yeah, Wang, we got to end it now because we're running late on this. But thank you, man. This was fun. We'll have you on again, and we'll do an updated TA eventually when Enphase has another little price action move. So we'll talk then.
You got to get him in earlier.
Thank you, man, for being on. Yeah, we got to get you in. We just had so many people here today.
That's all right.
All right. That's it. Hour and 18 minutes. Thank you all for being here. We held 500 strong the whole night. Links in the chat. Our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the new YouTube channel. That one is going to be where Carlos and Chris do the WWDC live stream next Tuesday, June 5th. So please subscribe to that one. And then everyone's Twitter is in the description as well. Any last words from my co-hosts?
You're muted, Chris.
We should probably talk about some macro stuff tomorrow, because I think there's some macro changes that are happening that might be worth just keeping an eye on while all the stuff is going on in the market. So, yep.
Sounds good. My work is not done for the day. I was supposed to do the Palantir daily shareholders meeting at 9 p.m. I had a meeting come up, so I couldn't do it. So as soon as the stream ends, in literally 2 minutes, we've got Palantir daily shareholders meeting. I'll be live.
Oh, can you post our Discord too? Besides pimping your own thing on our channel.
The first one,
and change your shirt. Change your shirt for the Palantir one.
Yeah. You should just
no. I gotta keep the same shirt.
You should just go like strong man. Take off the shirt.
Yo, that guy he just does not care. I love it. All right, this is the Freelance Finance Discord. Highly recommend everyone join, especially if you're interested. If you care about Enphase, you got to be in this Discord. It is, I think, the best Discord to actually care about Enphase.
Good people.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Later.
That's it.
Bye.
Later,
Thank
guys.
you, everybody, for joining. Palantir shareholders will be live in a second. See you guys tomorrow. Good night, everybody.